there was a very famous experiment actually done in India where tiger attacks on Indian miners were completely going crazy. The numbers are through the roof. And you can look this up, please look it up. And the solution they came to avoid tigers attacking the miners, was these miners would take human-faced masks and wear them on the back of their heads. So they'd do their mining, go down in their boats, drive around in their trucks, be out in the open with this mask on the back of their head. And if you look it up on Google Images, for sure you'll be able to find exactly what I'm talking about. You'll see that the masks look stupid. It looks ridiculous. It was only a very minor touch that these guys thought about the problem and actually applied something. But tiger attacks essentially dropped to zero. Now men, very much like tigers, are big pussies too. I just thought of that. I didn't actually write this. But what you'll find is everyone's a coward and no one wants to fight one-on-one. So even if there's only two of you, your body language, how you stand, and where you place yourself can be a massive deterrent to being started on or having any kind of physical confrontation. Now in school they teach you things like a strong handshake, and I'm sure the basis of this is in every single course or guide to body language in the world, but they teach it for the wrong reasons. In school I was taught that a strong handshake makes the person who I want to employ me like me more or take me more seriously. But you could convey many different expressions and emotions with something as simple as a handshake. If I'm in a room with a group of people who may or may not be hostile, if I'm in a room with a group of people who may or may not be hostile, the standard good handshake they'll teach you to give with the right expression on your face can also mean, don't fuck with me. It can say, I'm stronger than you. It could say, I'm not a pushover. These are things that people don't think about because it's never taught. Everyone's taught how to shake hands, to say, please employ me, please give me a job. But many other things can be conveyed with just a handshake. Now, when me and Andrew are out in public, we're always watching each other's backs. Now, paranoia isn't cool, it isn't sexy, and it isn't really alpha to be paranoid all the time that somebody's going to start on you. I know people who walk through the world in this way. They're scared of everything and everybody. The police, the person walking behind them, they're jumpy. That's not what I'm talking about, and that is not the way men like me and Andrew behave. When I talk about watching each other's backs, it's the small things that me and Andrew do that people who hang around with us pick up on. You guys at home won't see these things because they're never recorded and they're never on camera. Me and Andrew always sit, for example, across the table from one another, just in case somebody decides to come up from behind and attack us. It's very much like the tiger analogy, wearing the mask on the back of your head. I am his other set of eyes. If Andrew's on a date with a beautiful woman and I'm sitting with my back against the wall and I can see what's going on behind Andrew, Andrew can relax. Andrew can have his good time. He can not worry about looking over his shoulder because, me and Andrew do have a few enemies everywhere, including the city where we live. This doesn't just apply when you're with somebody else, but it can very much apply to yourself. Are you by yourself? Are you in Starbucks getting a coffee, about to do some work on your laptop? Fine. Be very careful about where you sit. Choose somewhere where your back is against the wall. Like right now, I'm sitting in a corner. I can see everything that's going on in the room in front of me. This is the place you want to sit. Not because you think somebody's going to come up and attack you, not because you are scared of assailants or muggers or robbers. Just being able to see everything that goes on in the room gives you the chance to react to situations. I guarantee if you were to look at some of the violent, crazy things that have happened in Europe, from bombings to terrorist attacks in the last few years, some of the people who survived because of where they were sitting. And it wasn't chance. A few of the people, I'm sure, were self-aware enough to be perspicacious about their environment, to sit in the corner, to watch what's going on, to be able to react to the environment around them. Now, when I see people with headphones in, slouched over a table with their coffee, typing away on their laptop, and the whole room's behind them and they're facing a wall, they look like a target to me. You don't have to be a tiger to know that that person is a target. If anything goes down in that coffee shop, if anything goes down in that restaurant, that person is going to be one of the first to die. So watch each other's backs and sit across the table from one another, always. I have had people who I've invited over to Eastern Europe who assume that me and Andrew are the kings of everywhere we go. Mostly because me and Andrew are very adept fighters and we can handle ourselves very well. But you need to understand, in most situations, from Western Europe to Eastern Europe, when you go to very expensive, exclusive places, nightclubs, first-class lounges at airports, the people around you are your equals or your betters, in some respect, financially or something, in one way or another. Now, if I'm in a club and I'm sitting in the VIP section, there are 6 tables only in an entire club that has maybe 2,000 people in it. I know those other people are somebody's too. Very rarely will a club just let some loser in to sit around and drink their super expensive alcohol, and even then it's a promoter who knows people or who's friends with the owner or something like that. Now, me and Andrew hang out in Eastern Europe a lot, so watching each other's backs isn't just actually viewing your surroundings and knowing what's going on around you, your self-awareness. It's also how you interact with the people who surround you. To give you an example, if I sit down at a table and there are 3 or 4 dudes, a number of dudes who outnumber us to my right. Now, this has happened plenty of times where there are 6 or 7 girls on my table. Now, how you assert yourself is going to determine whether or not those guys try to roll up on your women. You're only 2 guys, you're with 6 girls. They assume that these girls are friends of my girlfriend. They don't know I'm fucking 3 and Andrew's fucking 3. So of course it's natural and normal for other guys to at least think about talking to the girls who've come with you to the club. That doesn't happen to me and Andrew because of the way we assert ourselves. What you'll typically find is the most confident amongst them works as a scout. Will say hi, will say, can I borrow a lighter from one of the girls? When that happens, always ask the girl if she's okay afterwards. I do it all the time. A guy will be like, excuse me, do you have a lighter to one of my girls? I'll say, hey, you okay? And touch her arm gently, so the guy says, oh, I was just asking for a lighter. No problem, my friend. Handshake, eye contact. You know, you have to assert, don't fuck with me, with the initial contact with the guy. If I just turn my back and ignore him, after the lighter's been borrowed and he gives it back, he's going to say, where are you from? Who are you? What's up? You know, you have to cut things off the moment they happen. You have to nip it in the bud. So the way you conduct yourself within your own group of people will stop others trying to come over and invade your space. So the key is always to put yourself in a position of power. Don't just sit down and start guzzling away on drinks. I don't typically sit next to Andrew and talk away and let our girls mind their own business. We're mixed in with them, 2 or 3 girls divided by one of us at any stage around a round table, if you know what I mean. So we're always in control of our group, in control of our herd, if you like. So the way you position yourself lets others know not to creep up on you, not to try to talk to your women, and especially not to start some sort of stupid argument. That said, in clubs also, combat readiness. I always like to keep at least one of my hands free. If my hand isn't free, it's something that can be used as a weapon. Now, I've, in my life, been in maybe 2 fights inside of nightclubs. None of them in Eastern Europe. It's more of an England thing. And I avoid conflict at all costs. But the way you stand can mean the difference between getting your ass kicked and winning a fight. Typically, even if I'm smoking a cigar, the cigar can be easily dropped. I'll keep it in my left hand. My right hand is the hand that I'm going to strike with first. That's where I'll hold my glass. Because a glass can be used as a weapon just as much as a fist can be used as a weapon. And I always stand left foot in front of right foot ever so slightly, just so I can't be caught off guard, just so that I'm not off balance, just so that at any one time, with my glass and my cigar in one hand, if someone approaches really quickly, which is how these things always start, you're always good to throw a strike, throw the glass, or throw a punch. Before people even come over and try to talk to girls you're with, or try to start a fight with you, people will always scout you out. They'll always stare at you for a little period of time. They'll ask their friends, what do you think these 2 are doing with all those girls? Where do you think these guys are from? So when you catch them looking at you, don't stare them out. Don't put an aggressive look on your face, because that just makes them want to fight you more, especially if you're outnumbered. That's going to encourage a physical altercation. So you don't sit there looking angry at them, and what you absolutely don't do is when they catch you looking at them, look away instantly. That shows cowardice. What I do, I'm a very confident guy, Andrew as well. Keep in mind that when we're in a high-class establishment, the people who are with us are, very successful guys, rich guys, mafia guys, dangerous guys. There's somebody to be sitting there. So if I'm holding my drink, typically if I catch them looking and I catch eye contact, I'll just nod at them. Or I'll go like this, I'll raise my glass slightly and continue drinking. They'll typically do the same thing back, and that eases all tension. Nobody after that is going to come over and start trying to throw punches to your face. So if you sit confidently and assert yourself just with your eyes and the looks that you give the people around you, you can avoid basically all types of confrontation. No one's going to come over and try and talk to your women. No one's going to come over and try to assault you, try to insult you. You have to set an atmosphere and set a vibe that you're friendly, but you're not to be fucked with. And one more time, that takes me back to the handshake. That's what you need to say when you introduce yourself to people, especially if they come over to your table and try to do something you don't like talk to your girlfriend. Now, I know I may look big and scary, and some people watching may think, oh, well, it's all right for you. You're big and mean looking, so nobody's going to start a fight on you. Nobody's going to want to engage in conflict with you. That's not necessarily true. You can assert yourself with confidence alone. The way you scout the room, everything I was saying earlier, sitting in the corner, watching everybody around you, gives you the chance to see exactly what's going on. Now that reminds me of a clip I saw on the internet of a man, I believe it was in Australia, where 10 to 15 guys ran into a bar. I think they were trying to attack somebody or rob the place. I'm not sure what these assailants were doing. But this guy was standing, his back was to a pillar in the middle of the room, so no one could necessarily run up behind him, and he was standing at the bar. He wasn't a very big guy or necessarily scary looking guy, but he stood there with one of his hands on his glass and the other hand completely free. And as each person rushed by him and rushed up to him, he glanced at them slightly. Now the CCTV footage is a little grainy. I can't see exactly how he looked at these people, but he didn't look down at the floor. He didn't stare at them with fear, and he didn't sit there with an angry look on his face. He must have, by process of elimination, 10 guys ran by him, they all glanced at him, and nobody started on him. He must have conveyed some of the tips I've been talking to you about in this video. Now, why does nobody start on this guy? He doesn't panic, he doesn't flee, he doesn't run. That portrays somebody who can handle themselves, certainly. His hands are free, he's calm, he's confident, and he's looking at what's going on around him. The people who rushed into that bar were 10 to 15 individuals. They were not confident men. Nobody who wants to go and rob somebody or attack somebody has to bring 10 to 15 of their friends if they're not cowards. It's like splitting up a pack of sheep. The herd on its own can look intimidating coming towards you, but when you get one on their own, they're absolutely terrified, and that's exactly how this guy handled the situation. He looked at each one of them as a one-on-one situation, a one-on-one, man-on-man confrontation, and when they got that look, and when the guys made eye contact with him, or when they brushed past him, none of those people wanted to fight him. And that's the way the real world is. This takes me back to my original point. What those Indian miners did by putting the masks on the back of their head may seem so insignificant and so stupid, and by all means, please Google it, they look ridiculous. But all it takes is the tiniest of little steps and the tiniest of little details to deter physical confrontation and to stay out of conflict. The reason behind this is because most men are cowards. Most men don't want to fight you one-on-one. Occasionally you'll meet that guy, every once in a while, who thinks he can handle himself, has a problem with you, and wants to deal with you, and will actually come forward wanting to fight you head on, but that's not the way the world is. 99.9% of men cannot throw a punch. They can't throw a punch, they can't take a punch, and deep down, they know it. That's why tiny little details can completely avoid conflict. Now, in the last 10 years, me and Andrew have had maybe 5 or 6 physical altercations where hitting someone has become a necessity, and every single time they've been very easy to deal with. But on top of those, there have been at least 200 times where somebody has wanted to hit me or Andrew, or somebody has thought something negative about me or Andrew, and it could have spiraled into a physical altercation had I been in the wrong company or had I displayed the wrong body language. That's a massive part of conflict avoidance.
How does one become a ladies' man?
Well, it's simple. You know what? And it's super simple. I don't think there are any tricks and there are any hacks to it. If you were to ask men the same question, if you wanted to give a woman advice on how to get attention from all the high value men in the world, the answer would be a virtuous, super beautiful 10 out of 10 high value women. So I don't think it's a trick because I don't try to get women. I feel like I try to become the best version of myself I can be, and then women will naturally come to you. And that's as simple as that. And I know it sounds easy. It's actually the hardest answer in the world because it's the answer no one wants to hear. Try to be the best version of yourself. It's as simple as that. Work out in the gym, read something, learn something, become interesting, become wealthy, of course, because the wealth comes with a fun lifestyle. Women love fun.
Yes.
That's why they like fast cars. That's why they like when you take nice vacations, because women love fun. And when you're that guy, you'll be surprised how easy it is. If you're sitting there lonely, if you're truly lonely and you can't get any women, I can't teach you anything. Because if you had the basics, you wouldn't be lonely. It's not actually the outside perception you have. I will walk around the city occasionally if I just finished training in sweatpants and sneakers or whatever. And I know people know me, but let's even talk 3-4 years ago when maybe I wasn't so well known, but I was still dressing very well in my free time. It's how you feel in and of yourself. If I saw a beautiful woman sitting there at the mall sipping a coffee and I was dressed in, my beard was all messy, I had a hood up and I was in like sweatpants, the confidence, you haven't maximized your own confidence, if you know what I'm saying. When you're dressed really, really well, you just had a fresh haircut, you feel like a different person. So it's how it makes you feel first and foremost, like you could do anything. You put on a good suit. It's the same reason. I mean, this is universal across human nature. This isn't something specific to men. It's specific to women as well. It's every single person in the world. Women will do their makeup and do their hair and put on a nice dress, and then their personality, you'll know when you hang out with them, seems different. They're more full of their confidence. They're more their natural self. But definitely it's perception as well. People take you more seriously. People are more likely to stop and listen to what you have to say. If you're dressed like a homeless person and you try and disturb someone when they're walking past you, they think you want $1. People are much more likely to listen to what you have to say, and also makes you more memorable. Also makes you more memorable.
A lot of guys don't dress up.
Keep in mind, because you go for a job interview, you have to understand, even if you just bought your basic kind of shirt from a store and some pants and some shoes and you think you're dressed nice, that's like the standard issue job interview uniform. The guy who's doing the job interview, I know it's special to you, I know you've prepared, I know you think, oh fuck, I really need to get this job. He's seen 40 people today, 50 people today. Who was the guy in the really nice suit? That stands out, So also it burns you into people's minds and memories much more.
Yeah.
When people say the word Tristan Tate, oh yeah, he always wears nice suits. And let me tell you something. When you are dressed very well, you aren't in a place, you become the place. You become part of the ambiance of the place. Let's say you take the fanciest restaurant you could think of. Imagine a very fancy restaurant, right? And you walk in there and everyone's in beach shorts and Crocs and baseball t-shirts. It ruins the ambiance of the restaurant. So you're also doing your part to add to the aesthetics of a nice location. So if you go somewhere like Monaco to the casino, you can't get in wearing a baseball shirt and Crocs. They won't let you in. Doesn't matter how much money you have. But you go there dressed like me, or I'd probably dress better than this if I went to the casino. I'd be bow tied up and everything. I'm adding to the aesthetic of the place by just being a man in a $30,000 tuxedo standing by the bar sipping drinks. I'm adding to the place. Whereas if you go somewhere looking for a bum, like looking like a bum, you're subtracting from the aesthetics of a beautiful place. And you can get a good suit for $300, $400, $500 if you go to Hugo Boss or something. But you can get much cheaper than that. And if it fits you well and you're in decent shape. Yeah. And if you're in decent shape, that's the key. If you
gotta be in shape.
If you work, it's like t-shirts. It's like t-shirts. You wear a plain black t-shirt and you're in good shape versus wearing a Versace t-shirt that costs $900 but you're fat as fuck. But you know what's the most important? Don't be a geek. Because it's the man inside the suit.
Yes,
it's the man inside the suit. You give me a t-shirt and shorts, and you put some of these dorks who hate on me in a $25,000 suit, and watch who gets the women, watch who gets the business contract, watch who will pass any job interview. Me in my shorts. So rule number 1, don't be a geek. Women are always interested in learning new stuff. Yes. Women are always interested in hearing new things that they find interesting. And it always depends on the vehicle of delivery.
Yes.
It's the vehicle of delivery. If you're a little nerd who's like, oh, well, women should like me. I know lots of stuff. I read lots of books. Yeah, but you're a little dork with a pencil neck.
Women aren't interested in even sitting down next to you, let alone listening to anything that comes out of your mouth. If they think, I might want to sleep with this guy, because you have to understand, before dates, especially when it's your third, fourth, fifth date, the decision to sleep with you, go to bed with you, give you what you're after, is already made usually by women before you go. So you just have to go out and freestyle it. If you're sitting there saying interesting stuff that she doesn't know, will she remember it? No. Will she talk about it with her friends? No. But they find things they don't know incredibly interesting. So yeah, become an interesting guy. When you're not looking for something serious, which none of you young people really should be, have fun.
I got one more question.
And when you're trying to have fun, don't ask what you don't want to know. Like, girls lie and girls aren't honest. So if you're 21, the girl you're dating or the girls you're trying to hook up with or whatever aren't probably going to be the girls that you marry. You know, if you meet a girl and you think, oh, this is suspicious, why is her handbag so expensive, blah, blah, maybe just hang out, eat dinner with her, have fun with her, and when it ends, it ends. Maybe don't try to be, hey, what are you actually really doing? You're 21, shut up. One, she doesn't have to explain herself to you, but two, you're not in the position where you can offer something so serious. It's only when you finally establish yourself and you're looking for those girls that you perhaps, want to settle down with, want to get married with, want to start a family with, where you need to be analyzing her past. So that's a game to play for the older dudes, I feel, rather than you youngsters. A lot of guys are like 19. How do I find a good girl? Maybe just, become a millionaire and find one when you're 28. Maybe just shut the fuck up about finding a good girl. If she'll sleep with you when you're 19, maybe that's good enough for now. I think the simple advice is accountability and self-reflection. What I would like you to do after watching this wonderful show, go to your bedroom, take off your shirt, strip down to your underwear, look at yourself in the mirror.
Pause.
Speak to yourself for 10 minutes. Think, if I didn't have this nice house and I wasn't stood here in this particular house with the Lamborghini outside and I wasn't this rich, what about me would women want? And if the answer is nothing, then you're only going to attract the women who are into your money and your money only. Because I've got loads of money. And I understand that women enjoy my company. They like being around me. They like listening to me. So if you have nothing but money, then that's what you're going to get, the girls who are after your money. You have to up your game in every single way and stop throwing the money around, and then you'll meet the girls who like you because you're strong and fit, who like you because you're smart, who like you because you're charming, who like you because you dress well, who like you because, I don't know, maybe you have class, you have etiquette, you have poise, you take them to things that they don't know, you take them to the opera instead of this club. You'll find those special girls when you are a man that those kind of girls will want. But let me tell you something. Most women I know are smarter than the millionaire streamers, the clowns who talk nonsense and do bullshit content.
They're aware.
Most women I know are smarter. So you take someone smarter than you, who's after your money, she's gonna get it. You know what? I'm actually quite a good specimen of man. I'm good looking enough, I'm strong enough, I'm fit enough, I'm interesting enough. Yeah, I could see why women like me. If you can genuinely reflect in that way, and you're honest to yourself and you're right, then you should be meeting good women. So of course they get the girls who are just after their money. I don't blame the girls. Everyone's going to complain about gold diggers. You're a skinny little pencil neck dweeb with nothing interesting to say. You're not manly. You're not physically attractive. You don't speak well. What else should they want? What else should they want? They don't feel protected around you. They don't feel safe with you. Of course they want the money. It honestly doesn't bother me like it bothers you, because I think this is a dog-eat-dog world. And I think if you're going to make yourself a target, because the answer to their problem, they think the answer to their problem is more clout, more money, I don't know, maybe the good girl's going to come along. The answer to their problem is 3 years of hard work that they're not going to do. They're not going to do it, and they know that's the answer. They know that's the answer. 3 years of hard work is the answer to their problem, but they're not going to do it. So, am I going to get mad at the at the lion for picking on the weakest gazelle?
Nope.
I'm not, because that's the way the world is. I think the younger men should be seeing this, being like, oh, we got finessed by this girl. Okay, cool. And if they run into some money, they should be able to see. So you can learn from bad examples just as much as you can learn from good examples. So the bad examples are out there for a reason, and it doesn't upset me to see. It upsets me when I've had friends who are really great guys, really hardworking dudes, try to be the best version of themselves, who've gone through bad divorces, who've gone through bad breakups. And yeah, that's sad. And it's sad to see women take advantage of men who are actually trying their best. But if you want to be the lame gazelle walking around with a limp, the lion's going to eat you. I don't actually feel sorry for them, and I don't care, because they know the answer to the problem. Everyone knows the rules to the game already. Everybody knows that if you wake up and you're lazy, and you sit around on your phone, you scroll on TikTok for 4 or 5 hours, you go to work at your normal job, you work your shift when there's nothing wrong with hard work and there's nobility in working any job, and then you go home and you do nothing and you watch TV, you know you're not going to make it. It's not actually something that I need to tell anybody.
So true.
And they do this to me on Super Chats all the time, and they do this to Andrew specifically, because Andrew is a more accomplished fighter than me. They're like, hey Andrew, give me some advice on how to be a good kickboxer. Is there a gym near your house? Why aren't you there right now? Why weren't you there yesterday? Everyone already knows the answers, and they search, unfortunately, for cheat codes, for magic words that I'm going to tell you that are going to make you rich. You have to outcompete everybody else, because there are only so many, although dollars can be printed in an unlimited amount, there's only so much wealth in the world. There are only so many Lamborghinis that are built every year. There are only so many mansions in every single country. There are only so many private jets and so many beautiful women and so much gasoline and fuel and food and caviar and all the crap that everyone wants. And there's only so much gold and so many Pateks and so many Rolexes that are made. You have to outcompete other people to get the things that you want. You know us. I am glued to my laptop and phone. All I do is work, and all Andrew does is work. So the fact that we have shown such amazing results coming from where we come from, there's no magic spell, there's no hocus pocus. I go back to my younger self, and I'd say, yeah, keep it up, because you're definitely going to make it, because that young guy who was broke is now me. Oh, the worst advice is great. The worst advice exists everywhere in the universe, and you hear it all the time. The worst advice, I don't know if the people in charge of the world put this out here on purpose, but you see it every single day. Some flowers take longer to bloom. Don't worry, your time will come. If you're not where you want to be today, don't worry. It's gonna happen. Your time's gonna come, your ship's gonna come in. That's the worst I've ever seen. And it's on the internet every day. You're going to start seeing it now. You're going to start seeing it. It's on the internet everywhere. You just scroll past it. You haven't taken in the bullshit.
Just
Bro, it's terrible.
Wow.
And for any young person to sit there whose life isn't going right, who had a failed relationship, they're 21, working a dead-end job, but to see on the internet, don't worry, some flowers take longer to bloom. You're going to make it one day. Your time will come. And God, okay, great. Sigh of relief. My time will come. The internet said so. If you buy into that, you deserve to be poor forever. Like, panic mode is the best mode to be in. Things aren't quite right. Life sucks. My girlfriend just left me. Can't pay my rent. Panic mode. The internet. Some flowers take longer to bloom. My time is going to come. Panic. Panic and succeed. That's the worst advice I've ever seen. Happiness is the purpose of life, but not for yourself. Let me make sure that my children are happy. Let me make sure my mother is happy. Let me make sure any woman who comes into my life is happy. Let me even, because men don't have each other's backs these days, make my friends, my male friends, as happy as I can. But nothing about my quest for happiness is about, I guess, personal happiness. I do the things I like to do. I like to drive fast cars. I do these things because they entertain me. But I don't wake up every day trying to be happy. So I don't think happiness is the purpose of life for men. I think men should be trying to make everyone else happy. It's very ironic, actually, that they'll call old-fashioned men like me who want to provide for their women and not maybe have their woman have a job and provide for his family in the traditional way. They'll say like, oh, you just want your woman to be a slave for you. Okay, she might make a few sandwiches. Okay, she might cook a few meals. She might change a few diapers. But if I'm working 18-hour days, 7 days a week, I am the slave. Yeah. I serve people. That's what I do. The people in my life, I serve them. And by exchange, they serve you back. Your daughter can make you happy, your wife can make you happy, girlfriend, mother, they can make you happy too. And just seeing the smiles on their faces is often enough for men. Success is a form of revenge. Success is the best form of revenge. I don't believe in getting revenge on anybody. I've had people screw me over for money, break my heart, upset me. Yeah, but I don't do it for the revenge. It just naturally happens. Being angry at someone is like holding a burning stone in your hand with the intention of throwing at them. Like, it might do them some damage, but it will do you more damage first. I don't hold on to these. I didn't need fuel to go and make something of myself. It's just naturally happened as a form of revenge. But success is a form of revenge. I think it's the only form of revenge.